Welcome to the fight game. He's Icewater, Puma, and I guess we need to talk about your son Stevenson fighting tomorrow. We're recording this on Wednesday, and they were talking some big trash at the beginning of this fight because Stevenson's opponent would not pronounce his last name right, and he was like he called him I think Twitterson. Uh, so tell us about this fight, man. And it seems like this fight is going to catapult him into fighting guys like Lomachenko, Tank Davis, all these fighters that are kind of looking to see where he's going to be and kind of lining themselves up to fight him a little bit later.
Yeah, well, I mean, Shakur Stevenson is, we know he's a very talented fighter. A lot of people say they think that power and strength can uh, can tear him down. He just have not right met the right opponent yet, and a lot of people think that will be the case when he fights Edwin De Los Santos. De Los Santos is a very rugged, hardcore, hard punching individual. He's coming straight at you. He's not running. He's gonna swing wild. He's gonna stay a little bit in the pocket, but he's coming straight forward. And what Shakur Stevenson is going to try to do is use his style to bounce around to a point where he times him. And once he times you right, he'll start unloading on him. But De Los Santos is there's no mystery about him. He's coming straight ahead and he's trying to knock the hell out of you. So it'll be interesting to see what happens from that standpoint. I think Shakur is going to try to hit the body and work his way, and he has a way with that shoulder roll and just moving around to frustrate the hell out of an opponent. I think that's going to be the case here. He continues to show you that he is ready to take another step. People want to be faster than he's taking it, but he's taking his time, biding his time. Shakur Stevenson, that is, to try to move forward in this fight on a Thursday night. Interesting that you won't be making. I don't know how much money he's making, but it won't be the big money yet. But I think Shakur Stevenson must be okay for us financially, and he's taking his time to get to that point. And whatever y'all say, whatever you may think, it's crazy as hell to think that you should take 25% to fight Devin Haney. One of the biggest fights. It's going to be one of the biggest fights of his career. Y'all want him to take 25% so he can take some belts. Get out of town, bro.
I know we talked a little bit about the Benavidez fight, and that's coming up on November 25th. We could probably talk about that next week. But you had some news about the Charlo fight. That's heating up with the trash talk with that fight coming up. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I was watching some press coverage of Jamal Charlo, who's fighting the older brother of David Benavidez, Jose Benavidez Jr. And Jose Benavidez Jr. is a tough customer. He fought Crawford. He fought some other guys before, and he's saying he's up in his right weight to where they're fighting at, so he feels real comfortable. And the amount of trash talk, or even some of it very personal, that Benavidez put towards Charlo, it was like unnerving. Some were talking, calling him out his name, talking about his mental health issues, talking about he was crying on YouTube, to also saying that, Charlo had nappy hair. It was just, it got ugly. I mean, he got to a point watching my guy was watching Brian Custer's show, and he couldn't even control him. So I think this is like pure D. I don't care about you. I do not like you as a person. I don't think you're that good. Both of them coming in. The question is, what Jamal Charlo are we going to see, right? Is he going to just come in because somebody told him it was time? Is he going to be ready? He said he's been working out and training. He just really hasn't been serious about the camp. And Benavidez is a tough customer. So it's an intriguing fight because you have Benavidez who wants to come in and try to prove a point against a top notch guy to try to get back on top or get back in the area, right, of greatness on that level. And then you have Jamal Charlo is trying to show the world that I was a champion, I'm still a champion, and I still have it, but I haven't been in the ring in 2 years. 2 years. That's going to be very interesting. So two guys that are really hungry, really trying to prove something, and only time will tell once they get in the ring as to what we're going to get. But if the trash talk and all of the stuff that has been said is any indication of what the fight's going to be like, it's going to be fireworks, bro. If they both bring in that effort after all of the hype they were bringing in and the trash talking, I thought I'd watch a Ric Flair for a minute, man. Woo! I was like, damn, let me
Ric
put my
Flair, Dusty Rhodes.
yeah, put my belt on. You know what I'm saying? Put my championship belt on.
Man, December 23rd. This is going to be a Christmas present for all boxing fans because you'll have on the card Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Dimitri Bivol, and a host of others fighting on the same card. They won't be fighting each other, but Anthony Joshua will be fighting Otto Wallen. Um, Dante Wilder will be fighting Joseph Parker, which I think is going to be a smash out, drag down, knock him out fight. And Dimitri Bivol is going to be fighting London Arthur for the WBA light heavyweight championship. So, what do you think, man? I was surprised when I heard this. Maybe about an hour or two before we got on air. What do you think about this particular fight card?
No, I think it's a great fight card, particularly for the heavyweight division, because the standpoint of as these guys are getting older, that's a fight we always wanted to see was Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Even though they're not fighting one another, you just good to see them back in the mix. And Joseph Parker is no slouch. Being interested to see what happens there, but I'm more intrigued by the fact that if these guys, that the fact that they're going to fight on this date, and apparently there's been an agreement if they both win that they're going to face off against one another twice during next year. I would love to see that fight. The only question you have to ask is what Anthony Joshua are we getting, right? Where's his mindset? Is he going to come in? I mean, hell, you look at him for this fight. We don't know if he's going to win this fight because from the mindset, he's been off his game for a while. The mindset is almost as if he doesn't want to fight me again. And if he does win this fight, if he cannot get up mentally to face Deontay Wilder, he should quit boxing.
Mm.
He probably should anyway. But if he cannot get up in the first fight to show that I still have the skill set, something to motivate him, if he can't do that, there's no reason for a rematch. There's no reason for a rematch. But at first, we still must find out what's going to happen. And there are two separate bouts in December. But I'm encouraged and I'm excited to at least something's moving. The ball is moving because they have to do something. I'm talking about boxing overall with the fact that Showtime is buying out after the year, and something has to come up. I'm very interested to see what happens after the end of December, going into the new year.
Yeah. Talking about going to the UFC, saw a fight last week with Alex Pereira, and when I was sitting there before the fight, I couldn't believe he fought Israel at about 184, 185, being on that 6'4" frame. It just seemed too light. But he came in to this fight and took a belt, 11 fights, and he has two belts. He took two belts. And he came in at 205, about 206, and he looked comfortable. He looked like he was at the right weight, right power, and took out the champion in the second round. I don't know if you got to see that fight, but he just looked so comfortable. And he called Israel out. So I don't know if Israel is ready to step up into the heavyweight, but I could see John Jones, somebody else coming down the pike. If this is what this guy wants to do and stay at this weight, which I think he should, um, he's going to kind of command a lot of attention and a lot of dollars for the UFC in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, well, I mean, Pereira, when the fact that he was able to beat Israel in the one time and then he lost the second time, and the fact that he had that history with Israel, which makes that fight very interesting in the first place. But now I have to be blunt with you. I don't want to see that fight anymore.
I don't.
I mean, I don't want to see it because I think one of the issues Israel has right now is the fact that he's bored. He needs a challenge, and he's already proven what he can do against this guy. He finally kind of got his revenge, if you will. God beat him in some other areas too, but I would rather see Pereira move on, step up against somebody else. He only has the limited number of professional fights. Keep proving who he is with his title shots or defending his title. I think the more he fights, the better off, the better coverage, the better fan support he'll receive too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you be careful because you do not want to step into in the octagon with only 15 fights. He was one of the greatest of all time, John Jones.
Yeah.
I don't care if he is a heavyweight. You don't want
And
to
I
see
have
that.
to correct myself. Light heavyweight. Yeah, he
Yeah,
won
okay,
the
yeah.
heavyweight
Because
champion.
if you come up, even if he comes down, you do not want to see that man. You might want to get to 20 fights if he's still around. You do not want to see that man because everybody knows. And if you don't, I'm gonna tell you, when John Jones is on his game, he's probably the greatest, one of the greatest, not the greatest of all time. And I say that, with a grain of salt. So many other people would probably disagree with me, but I've seen him and perform. And when he has his mind right, there's not too many that can battle with him. And I would like to see the fight coming up. Once he gets healthy, might be another 8 months, might be another year. But I'll tell you, he is amazing. Just ask Daniel Cormier.
Fights. Any other fights that we need to be looking at either in the UFC or in boxing?
Yeah, I'm gonna step over boxing real quick. There's a major thing, something that happened, and we had to bring this to people's attention. They probably already seen it, and it's the fact that I think it's the IBF stripped Terrence Crawford of the belt and made Boots Ennis the champion, automatic champion. And a lot of people were talking about, well, now that shows you that Terrence Crawford should come back and fight Boots Ennis. But like I said before, what's in it for Terrence Crawford? What's in it for him from that standpoint? And I don't think he has a lot of fights left. He wants to make fights that make sense money wise, because he got a taste of the real money. Probably finally fighting and signing contracts from PBC. He finally got a chance what the real money's like and how much money you can make. And I think what he wants to do now is build up on that by fighting for championships. People say, well, Boots Ennis has one belt, but he's young and he still has a lot to prove. Now, I challenge Boots Ennis, if he will, if it was me as a fan, I want to see him, defend your belt, fight against some people, fight against maybe Virgil Ortiz, right? Let's see that fight. I know you want to do that. That's fine. But the other thing, too, is this, and we mentioned it on the show earlier. I listened to his trainer, Brian Bomack, Crawford's trainer, and he talked about the next step. And one of the next step that he was asked about was, would he fight Tszyu, right, for that 154 belt? And Bomack said it would not be a contest whatsoever, because we talked about that earlier. He says he's flat-footed and his style, it plays up to what Crawford wants to do. He doesn't move a lot. He's straightforward fire. And he said anybody that moves and has the ability to punch, they're gonna be in trouble. He'd be in trouble. And I think that's the easy route. So the easy route will be for him to Terrence Crawford to go up there, fight Tszyu, beat him, be at 154, and then he can wave his hand and go, hey, Jamel, here I am, 154, or whomever. I'm at 154, come see me. Now I can fight Spence again at 154 because now I got that out of the way. Right. So a lot of things he can do, or he can simply walk away and retire. And Boots, if you feeling froggy, you can come up to 154 and get this too.
He's Icewater. I'm Puma, and this is the Fight Game.